The air in the living room felt thick, heavy with Lena's lavender and another scent I couldn't name. Something metallic and sour, like regret. I stood motionless, key still swinging from my fingers, the front door half open behind me. On the coffee table an ultrasound lay face up, its grainy black and white ghost pointing at a reality I hadn't been prepared for. Lena sat on the couch, hands clenched until her knuckles shone white, eyes fixed somewhere beyond me. Beside her sat Ethan, my oldest friend. His smile was gone. His face was set in a hard, tired line. The silence between us screamed more than any accusation could. I'd come home early, a rare mercy from the office, beaten by a software bug that refused to be tamed, craving nothing more than Lena's arms and a place to let go. Instead, I walked into this, a moment that would lodge itself in me forever. My throat tightened as my keys hit the floor with a clatter that felt like a shot. "What is this?" I asked, voice low and shaking with disbelief. Lena's mouth opened, but no sound came. Ethan's gaze flicked from the photo to me and away again. In retrospect, the last few weeks had been fraying at the seams, though I hadn't noticed. Lena had been distant, laughter rarer, touch more hesitant. And I blamed the gallery, the late nights, the faint smell of paint and wine clinging to her coat. Ethan had slipped, too. Our Friday beers at O'Malley's thinned into cancellations. He seemed distracted, jokes landing without life, his eyes skirting mine. I trusted them both. God, I trusted them both. How do you start to doubt the woman who leans into you and whispers, "I love you" in the dark after 7 years? Or the man who carried you home when you broke your ankle at 18? "Mark," Lena said finally, voice fragile as ice. "We need to talk." Her green eyes, usually bright, were clouded with something I couldn't name. She reached for the ultrasound as if it were a shield, fingers trembling. I didn't mean for this to happen. My heart lurched. I wanted to yell, to tear answers out of them, but my body felt leaden, as though gravity had doubled. Her sentence sat in the room like a thrown stone. Ethan rose. I could see his hands shaking as he combed them through his dark hair. "It's mine," he said bluntly, the words slipping in clean and devastating. "The baby, it's mine." The world tilted. My vision narrowed to a hot, pinpoint ache. Lena's face went thin and pale. She didn't meet my eyes. My best friend, the brother of my childhood, had cut me in a place I didn't know existed. And Lena had let it happen. The ultrasound image burned in my mind, a tiny, alien shape that belonged to someone else. I stumbled back, hip catching the console table, and knocked a framed wedding photo to the floor. The glass spider-webbed, a jagged line severing our smiling faces. "How long?" I managed. The rest of the question stuck in my throat. The word felt obscene and absolute. "It wasn't planned," Lena said, voice breaking as she stood and reached toward me. I flinched away and she stopped, hurt and something else passing across her features. "One night, Mark. One stupid, drunken night after the gallery opening. I was upset, Ethan was there, it happened." Rage rose up hot and sharp. "You don't get to make excuses," I said. The room seemed too small, the walls pressing in. I turned toward Ethan, grief folded tight into the anger. "You were my best man. You toasted our marriage. You carried me through years I never thought I'd get through. How could you?" Ethan's face crumpled, his eyes glistened with tears. "I'm sorry," he said, voice small and ragged. "I never meant to hurt you. It just..." His apology sounded rehearsed and thin. I wanted the physical violence of it, to strike and feel something, but my hands hung useless at my sides. Outside, the rain began, a steady tapping on the window that underscored the chaos. The three of us stood in a room that had been ordinary that morning and was now a landscape of fractures. Lena reached for me again. I stepped away. The future I'd pictured, years of coffee, small arguments, soft mornings, split open into shards. The ultrasound on the table gleamed black and white, an undeniable proof of a life neither planned nor mine. And in that moment I realized that whatever came next would demand choices none of us seemed ready for. The days that followed blurred together in pain and pretense. Lena moved into the guest room, her belongings a faint echo of the life we had shared. Her toothbrush no longer rested on the sink, and her favorite mug sat untouched in the cupboard. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My mind replayed every detail, hunting for clues I had missed, The late nights, the hushed phone calls, the way Ethan's laughter had taken on a sharp edge. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. My thoughts a chaotic mix of love and anger. I still loved her. God, I still did. But whenever I looked at her, all I could see were Ethan's hands, the life inside her that was not mine. I tried to speak with them separately, desperate to understand. Lena wept, her voice a jumble of apologies, muffled by the pillow she clutched. I was lonely, Mark, she said one night. You were always working. I felt invisible. Her words cut, but they forced me to confront my own failures. The nights I had chosen deadlines over dinners, work over connection. Had I pushed her away? Had I made this inevitable? Ethan was harder to reach. He dodged my attempts, his replies curt and evasive. When I finally cornered him at his apartment, the smell of burnt coffee hung in the air. He looked broken. I love her, he admitted, voice barely audible. I didn't mean to, but I do. His honesty burned like acid, but it was the fear in his eyes that unsettled me. Then came the texts. I had borrowed Lena's phone to call my mother. Mine was dead on the counter. A notification blinked, a message from Ethan. We need to tell him everything. It's not just the baby. My heart sank. Hands trembling. I scrolled through months of messages. Intimate, reckless, plotting a life that didn't include me. Their betrayal wasn't a one-time lapse. It was a repeated choice. I confronted them together, clutching the ultrasound photo like evidence in a courtroom. The living room felt suffocating. You lied, I said, my voice steadier than I felt, driven by a cold fury. This wasn't a mistake. This was everything. Lena's face went pale. Ethan's shoulders slumped. Neither denied it. Their silence said more than words ever could. What came next defied expectation. I wanted answers, closure, some sense from the wreckage. But Lena's tears turned to panic, Ethan's guilt to defiance. We're leaving, he said, his voice hard now. We're starting over elsewhere. Lena's nod told me she had already made the decision. I realized I had no say in it. 2 weeks later, the tragedy struck. I had moved out, sleeping on a coworker's couch, life packed in a duffel bag. The call came at 3 a.m., the hospital number flashing on my screen. Lena and Ethan, driving north with suitcases, had collided with a semi. Instant. No survivors. Not even the baby. I sat in the hospital waiting room, the antiseptic smell burning my nostrils, mind replaying every memory. Lena's laugh, Ethan's grin, the ultrasound I would never hold. Grief tangled with rage, inseparable. They had betrayed me, but paid a price no one should. I was left with nothing but questions and a hollow ache where love once lived. The ultrasound photo sits on my desk now, a silent reminder of what was lost, not just them, but the version of myself who trusted without doubt. I don't know if I will ever forgive them, or myself. Some betrayals cut too deep, leaving scars that whisper in quiet moments. What if I had seen the signs? What if I had fought harder? The answers, like Lena and Ethan, are gone forever.